Welcome back, folks. This is Shane. I thought I'd show you my studio. This is something I haven't done for quite some time, and since moving into this house, I haven't done one of these little studio tours, and you might be surprised just how little stuff I actually have in here to get what I need done for the In the Blues YouTube channel. Now, for those who know, I've actually got two YouTube channels, so I film the In the Blues channel this side, and then on my other channel, I film it on this side. Now, this isn't lit for the sake of this video. This is just with, I've got these lights on, but that's it. I don't have it lit properly like I would if I was shooting a video, but I essentially use this room now for two YouTube channels, which is awesome. So I'm going to run you through some of my gear, talk about what I think you should buy if you're thinking about starting your own YouTube channel, or if you're upgrading and you want better results, because it all comes down to a few factors: good audio, good video quality, and making good videos. And maybe the last one is the most important, and good audio. They're kind of even. But anyway, I'm going to walk you through some of the stuff I use to shoot the videos on this particular channel, and yeah, you can get an insight into what actually goes on. Alright, let's start by walking into the studio. And one of the cool things about this particular place is my garage is through this door, which means I can park in there, walk stuff in, and then I'm ready to go. So we'll take a look at some amplifiers to begin with here. I'm not going to run you through all the specs or anything, but I've got my PV Classic 50 over here. I'm using the Kalen power supply. I've used this now for so many years. It's still going strong. Here's my Hagerman amplifier head, made in Hawaii. The 2 Notes Captor X, which I'm going to start going back to again because I've dialed it in beautifully now and I'm really happy with the tone. I've got my Marshall DSL 40CR over here, the brand new Red Stripe PV Bandit that I picked up recently, that I'm absolutely loving this. I've already replaced the speaker in this as of shooting this video, and it sounds mighty. My Kemper, which again, I'm having sort of like a love-hate relationship with. I love the results, but for me, I'm just not enjoying using it as much as I do plugging into an amp. So there's always those compromises there. This is my Fender Blues Deluxe reissue amplifier. Now, when it comes to mics, I've got a pretty sort of stock 3 that I like to use. This is my Shure SM57, the Sennheiser E906. And if you're thinking about getting into YouTube and making guitar videos, these two pair beautifully together. It's one of the best combinations you can get. Now, while I have a Beta 57 clone down there, it's not one that I use regularly. The reason this is out at the moment is I needed 2 identical microphones, and this was one of the few microphones I have multiples of. So yeah, they're mostly all my amps that sort of go on rotation here in the studio. One of the other microphones I like to use is the Austrian Audio OD5 or the AEA N22 ribbon microphone. And that ribbon mic is great, but this kind of sounds like a mix between these two. So if you're looking for a good middle ground, this one would definitely cover all or most of your bases. And it's a really high quality mic. Now, if you're asking where's my Artist TweedTone 20 amplifier, it's in my garage. There's no room for it here. I don't want to have stuff any further out than the amp wall I've got right here. So that's that. But we'll get to the cupboard in a bit, as well as all kinds of crazy stuff in there. I'll talk you through a little bit about my audio setup in this room and what I use in terms of camera equipment, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll get into the guitar room. So let's do it. The 2 Notes Captor X is one of the best tools for someone who wants to get into YouTube. You can take essentially any amplifier that you've got that matches the impedance of the Captor X here, and then run 2 line outputs into your audio interface. And this replaces the speaker and the microphone, so you can record at any volume you like using a set of reference monitors, and I'll talk about these in just a moment. But essentially, this is one of the most essential tools, so you don't go deaf and you still get a great tone, because you're using the front end of your amplifier and then you're going out of this and you're replacing the speaker and microphone with an IR or an impulse response, which is made to match the sound of your cab, and then you can record without blowing your ears out. While the Kemper is a digital unit, the big advantage that this has is I can set a mic in front of the speaker here and capture the sound of my amp. And if I'm using that amplifier on the clean channel with my favorite overdrive, it gets stored as a preset in the Kemper, which is cool. It means I can recall my own sound and not other people's sounds, my own tone, my own sound, using my own gear with this unit. And for that, the Kemper is one of the best tools on the market, even in 2024. And this came out 14 or 15 years ago, which is crazy. Now, for those unfamiliar with my channel and my love for camera equipment, yes, I have multiples of the same camera. So this is the Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark II, and I actually have 4 of these. These are all set up perfectly to work in combination with each other. There's another one over here, which is sort of like the shot that you see tight on my guitar from the side. This one is my primary camera here. The lens is the 35mm f1.8. This one is the tight front shot with the 50mm f1.8. And again, the lenses are all part of the same series, and having the same camera body means that you can copy settings from one camera to the other to save time as it comes to, setting everything up. Having matching sensors, matching cameras is a really huge advantage. When it comes to shooting all the photographs or B-roll on the channel, I'm mostly using the Panasonic G9 Mark II. This is a micro 4/3 camera, but allows me to get more in focus, and it just looks nice and sharp. So I kind of stick with micro 4/3 now for most of my product B-roll shots. But if I'm not using that, I'm using one of these. This is the Lumix S9. In today's day and age, it really doesn't matter if you're shooting with Sony, Panasonic, Canon, or whatever. They're all going to give you excellent results. I've just been using Lumix stuff for so long. I ended up starting with Canon, went to Sony, went to Panasonic, went back to Sony, and now I'm back with Lumix pretty much full time here as a setup, because having one camera system makes the most sense when it comes to not only learning the cameras, but you can get these for a great deal. They're definitely worth it when you compare them up against the far more expensive options from other brands. Now, if you plan on doing a YouTube channel and you want to make sure everything's in focus all of the time, get a big computer monitor like this. Just anything you've got will be better than using the flip out screens on the camera. And this allows me to keep track of everything that's in focus. Now, this has multiple inputs, so I can essentially get 4 different views on one screen, but if yours doesn't have that, just get a switcher that you can switch between each of your cameras, or even if you just want it for a primary camera, it will save the day. I shot so many videos where I was out of focus, and I ended up getting, well, this monitor's my latest one, but I've still got all of my old ones because they're so handy to have anytime you're shooting video on your own. One of the things you've no doubt seen over the years are these little clip-on microphones here on my shirt or top or whatever. And this is the Rode Wireless Go 2. Now, I have so many different packs of these here at the house, but the Rode ones are great because they record internally. If you don't have the 3.5mm jack plugged into your camera properly, just by accident or whatever, these will record, so you can then sync the audio in post without having to redo everything. This has saved my ass so many times. These are really great little units. And sure, they're not going to sound as good as a $2,000 shotgun microphone, but I live on a pretty busy street here. There's lots of traffic and all that kind of stuff, and these help isolate my voice a little bit better. I also use lavalier microphones from Rode anytime you see one of them clipped on. But if I'm doing a seated talk to camera, I'm using the Shure SM7B. I'm really loving this microphone. I kind of stayed away from the Shure SM7B because everybody was using them. I've got a bunch of different podcasting style microphones, but it sounds so good, and I fully understand now why people use them. They do sound great. But if you're just getting started, find something like the Rode Wireless Go 2, and this will give you excellent audio results. A lot of people still comment on my posters. I found all of these images on Google Images back in the day. I then had them printed out at an office supply shop and then got them laminated with a matte finish. Now, initially on the early days of me doing this, I had all the posters gloss laminated, but the lights reflected on them, and it was just a horrible experience trying to film against the wall this way. So yeah, this is the matte finish is my recommendation here. And as you can see, I've got a whole bunch of different stuff. I'm a big fan of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I love the 80s. Miami Connection poster here, more for the color and for just the hilarity of it. And one of my favorite action movies of all time, Cobra. Now, while I'm sure hanging guitars on the wall is the cool kind of hipster YouTube thing to do, I much prefer the identity of the channel now being linked to some colorful and fun sort of posters and artwork on the wall here. One of the things I'm definitely going to be putting on the wall at some point is a decibel meter. And this one is my battery sort of powered one. And this works beautifully. It's really good, really accurate, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it turns off every sort of 3 or 4 minutes. But I would definitely love like an LED sign on the wall somewhere at some point. But yeah, this does the job anytime I need to measure how loud something is with accuracy. When it comes to editing all of my videos, recording all the audio, all that kind of stuff, I use a 2020 iMac. I've had this for a number of years and it's still going strong. And I shoot with a codec called MP4 on my S5 Mark II, which is a 10-bit 420 file, if you know about video editing. And this thing has no problems handling 4 or 5 different streams all at once. So it's still doing the job. And I use this for all of my audio production now as well for the channel. Anytime I'm recording a backing track, I'm using this. Now, if you're thinking about editing video, get yourself a few of these Samsung SSDs or any sort of solid state disk like this. It will make the entire experience a lot better. You can't edit off discs like this. They're way too slow. So stick to these and you'll be in business. My audio interface is the Focusrite 18i8, which gives me 4 XLR inputs on the front. It also has 2 headphone outputs if I ever need that, and a whole bunch of inputs on the back. And this has been great. This is probably the best audio interface I've had for its price. And I actually got this on sale, so it made a whole lot of sense at the time. And that's it. That's the only interface I use for recording audio. There's no tricks. That's it. When it comes to my studio monitors, I'm still using the Adam Audio ones that I reviewed quite some time ago. These have been fantastic. These were provided to the channel for the review at the time, and they're great. You've got a whole bunch of different scoops and sweeps and voicing controls on the back here, but I don't really use any of that. This room sounds pretty great, and I just have them set up going directly out of the audio interface. These studio monitors are mostly used for the guitar playing sections. If I'm using a Kemper or a 2-Notes Captor X, for example, I'm hearing the audio coming out of this. I also mix down those produced sort of guitar jam tracks with the reference monitors in use, and then I export everything to Final Cut, and I use the onboard monitors on my speakers here to make sure that my voice level sounds good and the guitar level sounds good on a conventional set of speakers. And this way, if you're listening on a tablet, an iPhone, a laptop, or whatever, a PC, the audio should still sound pretty good and at least balanced to regular speakers. When it comes to doing my live streams, I run my camera of choice, whichever one I choose for the day, through this. This is the Blackmagic Design A10 Mini. Now this gives me 4 HDMI inputs on the back, so I can stream up to 4 cameras out to the web, and these things are great. And this isn't the best one of these that I've got, but it's the most simple, and anytime I'm live streaming, I'm generally using Ecamm Live now to stream and show comments and all that kind of stuff. It just works beautifully with my cameras, with the computer, and the software that I use. To make things simple in the studio, I have 3 of these lights. These are the Pixel P80s. These are awesome LED panels. You can see just how small they are over there on that angle right there. And these are super powerful, and I'm running them at like 16% brightness, right? So you can change the color temperature, you can use them with effects and all that kind of stuff. But the thing I like about these is I can turn them on and off using my phone. It's that simple. So I can turn them all on, set them all up at a swipe of a finger basically, and then that's it. I only have one small complaint with this. If the power goes out on your house, you come back or whatever, and the power's back on, the lights will be on. That's maybe my only complaint with them, but otherwise these things are friggin' awesome. The only other light I use is this. This is a Colbor CL100, and this allows me to turn it on and off using a physical remote control, which I really love. I wish more lights had that particular type of feature. But it allows me to turn up the brightness, bring it down, change the color temperature, all that kind of stuff, just by using a remote. So this is one of the cool things about it, right? I can turn it off like this, boom, turn it back on. I can turn it down by using this switch, or I can turn it up. And again, this is on 25% brightness. It's brutally bright, this thing, but I love the fact I can use it with this, and I can spin it around, use it in different directions. It's just a really handy thing. Here's my BB King clock. My brother got me this for my birthday, I think, at one point, and yeah, it's still going strong. Through this doorway is my walk-in wardrobe, which has all of my guitars and miscellaneous stuff and stuff that I use on a regular basis as well. So I've got most of my hard cases at the front here because these are the ones that require the most amount of effort to get in and out. So I put them right at the front, and then I've got, you know, some other hard cases here, followed by all of my gig bags, and that's all of my guitars. Right here, it fits on one side of the cupboard, except for one, which is here. Actually, one of these guitars is a right-handed one, so technically that doesn't count, right? But yeah, I've got all my sort of filmmaking tools and microphones and other stuff that you might have seen on the channel up here, including pickups and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I really need to tidy this up. It's a bit embarrassing showcasing it in this fashion, but yeah, it is what it is. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name's Shane. If you have any questions about the gear or how to use it, all that kind of stuff, let us know in the comment section. Thanks again for watching. My name's Shane, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.